welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rachel. I'm a mummy to a 16-month-old little boy called Joshua, and the sorts of things you'll find on my channel are lifestyle, parenting, hauls, reviews, days in the life, vlogs, things like that. If that's the sort of thing that you like, then I would love for you to stick around and press the subscribe button down below. And if you are a returning subscriber, then welcome back. Today I am going to do our trying to conceive story with Joshua, and this was certainly a bit of an emotional roller coaster for me. It didn't go how I had planned, and I think when you decide you're going to try for a baby, you've got this picture in your head that you're going to try, you're going to get pregnant, everything's going to be perfect, and quite often for a lot of people this isn't the case. So I thought I would share mine with you. I've got a few notes on my phone, so if you see me looking down, then that's why. But let's just get stuck into it. So our trying to conceive story started around October, November time, and I approached my partner Sam and told him that I was really broody. We both had full-time jobs, we were living together, we were really strong, and I approached him and said that I was broody and I wanted to start trying for a baby if he did too. And I think he was a bit shocked, but he's wanted children for a while. He had wanted children for a while, so he was all for it. And we just decided that we would stop being careful and we would just see what happened. So as much as we said that, in fact, no. Before I go into the story, I should let you know that when I was about 15, I was diagnosed with ovarian cysts. These are quite common. I think about 1 in 4 women have ovarian cysts, and usually they are nothing, but for some people they can be quite painful and quite irritating. So I've got the NHS website here, and I'm just going to read through a few of the symptoms for you, so you've got a little bit of an idea of what they are and how they affect you. So ovarian cysts only usually cause symptoms if it splits, is very large, or blocks the blood supply to the ovaries. In these cases you may have pelvic pain, pain during sex, difficulty emptying your bowels, a frequent need to urinate, heavy periods, irregular periods, or lighter periods than usual, bloating and a swollen tummy, feeling very full after only eating a little, and difficulty getting pregnant, although fertility is unaffected in most women with ovarian cysts. So from when I had started my periods, I had always had horrendous period pain, and I was actually prescribed a really strong painkillers because it was that bad, and I had a lot of pain during ovulation days and bloating really badly, and a lot of the symptoms that I've just read out I would have suffered with for years, and it's just something that I've learned to live with because there's nothing I can really do about it. So in the October-November, we decided that we were going to stop being careful and just see what happened. And as much as we thought we were going to do that, I think we did sort of try a little bit harder to have a baby than what we normally would have. And I'm the sort of person that likes to do a lot of research. I like to know all the information and things like that. So the minute we decided we were going to start trying, I was like Googling and looking at all these statistics, and I got my hopes up really high, because online it said something ridiculous like 75% of women between the ages of 18 and 24 will conceive within the first 3 months or something like that. So I instantly thought, this is going to be fine, we're gonna just get pregnant and I'm gonna have a baby and everything's gonna be lovely. And the first month in, my period came. I was really disheartened because I really wanted to get pregnant and nothing was happening. But I thought, I'm not gonna get too upset about it. This is the first month that we've been trying, we'll try again. So a couple more months passed, so about 3 months passed, and still nothing had happened, and I was getting a little bit worried. Why am I part of the 25% of women that haven't conceived in the first 3 months? Are my ovarian cysts doing anything? What's going on? Why am I not pregnant? And at this point my morale was really low, because I so badly wanted to be pregnant and nothing was happening. And I think every month when you try for a baby, the more months that pass without you being pregnant, the more disheartened you get every time. So about 4 or 5 months had passed now, and by this point I think I was like starting to like convince myself that I was feeling pregnancy symptoms when I wasn't. And I obviously beforehand I'd googled all these symptoms of pregnancy, and I was starting to like convince myself that I had sore boobs, and convince myself that, you know, my nipples had got darker and things like that, and they hadn't. And every month I would like take a pregnancy test, and I think looking back, knowing that I wasn't pregnant but just hoping that the test was going to come back and it was going to be positive. And like I said, the more months that pass by and you get that not pregnant or your period comes, the more disheartened you get, the lower your morale gets, and the more you worry that something's not quite right or something like that. So I think we got to about month 6, month 7 of trying to conceive, and I know that a lot of women, it takes a lot longer, and I'm so grateful that I did conceive in the end. But I read up on contraceptive supplements, and I picked up these. These are the 7 C's trying for a baby: preconception, folic acid, supports normal fertility and reproduction. And I thought, well, I spoke to Sam about this and he said they won't work, it's just because you're being negative, that's not going to do anything. And anyway, I thought, well, I haven't got anything to lose. We've been trying for months and months and months and months and nothing has happened, so I'm going to give them a go. And so from the first day of my period, I took one of these every single morning, and then it got to the end of the month and we were actually moving house, and I think we woke up at about 10 o'clock and we went to the new house to do things on the garden, and I just felt absolutely exhausted and I couldn't pinpoint why. And I ended up falling asleep outside in my coat on like a camping chair because I was so tired. I remember Sam getting really irritated and agitated at me, saying, and he said to me, you got up at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's only 12 o'clock, why are you sleeping? You've come here to help. If you're not going to help, I'll take you home. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm so tired, I am so tired, I can't even like describe it. And then the day that my period was due to came and I hadn't come on, and that was a bit of like alarm bells for me, because I'm generally like clockwork, and I go at the same day every single month. Every 4 weeks I have a period. They're really painful, they're really heavy, and usually I start to get period pain a couple of days before my period is due, so I know when it's coming. And the day my period came and no period, I was like, this is a bit alarming. And I kind of felt like I had sore boobs and I was extremely tired constantly. I would come home from work at 6 and I would be asleep on the sofa at 8. I was just absolutely exhausted. And so I said to Sam, he was at his bowls club or something like that, and I texted him and I said, can you pick up a pregnancy test on your way home, because I think I might be pregnant, just get a Tesco basic one. And he said, are you sure, Rachel, because every month you ask me to pick up a pregnancy test and every month you get really upset because it comes back and it says you're not pregnant. And I was like, no, go and pick up a pregnancy test. I'm prepared for the fact it's going to come up negative, but my boobs are really sore, I'm really tired, and I haven't come onto my period. So I said just pick up a really basic one. So he picked up a Tesco's, just one Tesco's normal wee on the stick test, really basic. I think it's about £2 or something, and I took it and I waited 3 minutes like it said, and I had no crosses or lines in either of the windows, which meant that the test hadn't worked. And I was so angry. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I so wanted to know whether I was pregnant or not, and I couldn't ask Sam to go out again, and I threw the pregnancy test on our coffee table in a rage because I was so annoyed that I thought I was going to find out one way or another whether I was pregnant or not, and now I couldn't because the test hadn't bloody well worked, and I was just so frustrated. Because I don't like not knowing. I would rather know one way or another, and then if I'm not pregnant I could have prepared myself for my period to come, and if I was, then fantastic. And I was so angry, so I just threw it on the coffee table and got in a massive grump and carried on watching the telly. This was about 10:30 at night, and I think 10 minutes later Sam said to me, go and put that test in the bin. So I picked it up and I went to go and put it in the bin, and I looked at the windows and it had a little line in the control window which said the test had worked, and it had a plus sign in the test window, which obviously meant that I was pregnant. And I said to Sam, I was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. And he was like, what? He was just in utter shock. He was like, what? How? No, the test hasn't worked. I said it did. I said we hadn't given the test long enough. He said, but it's been about 15 minutes. He said give the test 3 minutes. I think he was in utter shock that I was like finally pregnant, and he was like, no, you know, don't get your hopes up. And obviously by this point I was ecstatic. I was like convinced that I was pregnant, and he's like, please don't get your hopes up, because it said that the test result will come up within 3 minutes. It's been about 15. We'll go and get 2 more pregnancy tests tomorrow. We'll go and get some clear blue ones, and we'll take some more tests then. And by this point I was googling how common is it to get a wrong positive pregnancy test and all these things, and I was like beaming. I was really thinking about baby names and googling prams and things like that. And the next day Sam picked me up from work, and we came home, and he had bought a double pregnancy test, 1 clear blue digital and 1 clear blue normal one. And he said go and take the digital one and see what that comes back, and if that comes back positive we can take the manual one the next day. So I took the clear blue digital test, which said on the packet as accurate as a doctor's test, 99.9%, you know, accurate. And I took it, and those 3 minutes waiting for that little window to come up were just horrendous, and I was waiting. I was like, in the back of my mind I sort of knew I was pregnant, but I didn't want to like be too sure about it in case it did come back not pregnant. And then it came back pregnant, and I think that's when Sam really like realised that I was pregnant, and we were just over the moon. And 9 months later little Joshua arrived, and it has been the best 2 years of my life. I'm one of those really horrible, annoying people that absolutely loved being pregnant, and I know that I've got so many friends that were pregnant at the same time, and they hated it, and they were so, how can you like being pregnant? But I absolutely loved it, and I absolutely love Joshua more than life itself. And there are plans for baby number 2. Not quite yet, we haven't started trying, but there are a few things I want to get done before we think about having another baby. One of them being getting Josh to sleep through the night, because I don't think I could hack 2 at the same time. But yeah, that was my trying to conceive story. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up in the bar down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all again soon. Bye! Thanks for watching.